Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I saw this video online and I wanted to react to it, but it went in a completely different direction than I anticipated. When I saw the title, I was like, I want to see what they're talking about because I think I have an idea. And then when I started watching it, my mind was blown and I became concerned. And yeah, I'm going to show you guys the clip so that you can see what I'm talking about, and I'll come back.
Should body count matter?
I'm so tired of
I think
conversation.
yeah.
Oh my god.
No.
Are we raising it if we think it should?
Not at all.
Raise if you think body count. No, raise your hand if you think body count shouldn't matter, should not matter. Raise them high. Raise them high.
I'm like, there's an in between raise. I mean,
I think
it's
it
like
doesn't
to a
matter to
certain
a point.
degree.
To a point.
There's a line where it's a concern.
If body count shouldn't matter, what's your body count?
Okay, I'm not a weird high school boy that keeps it in my notes. It's definitely.
But you know it's over what?
I know it's definitely over like 50, probably over 90.
Probably over 150.
Definitely not over 150.
You said last time you said.
Yeah. I don't think it's like, I don't know.
Throw under the bus. Come on, guys. Come on.
Dude, I've been
as a house, her answer was, I think it's about 200, including men and women.
Yes.
Wait, how old are you again?
I'm 21.
21.
When did you start having sex?
Girls going in.
I consensually started having sex when
Oh,
I
Jesus.
was 15.
15. So this is all in 6 years.
It's not that. Okay.
When I tell you my mouth went to the floor, at first I was like, there's no way, she has to be trolling. There's no way a 21-year-old could have slept with all of these people. In my mind, I'm like, it's not possible. I heard 200 and I went like crazy, like 150, 200, under 200, over 100. I went crazy because I'm like, there's no way. How is this even possible to have slept with so many people in 6 years? That's crazy. And then I became so concerned because I'm like, what kind of freedom do these people have in this day and age, in this culture, that they are out there doing all of these things? And then I'm like, this is why, for me, and that's just my opinion, don't come for me because I ain't standing for none of y'all. This is why I'm such a major advocate for gender roles. I know that things happen to where the dynamic can't always be like that, but a two-parent household is vital for a kid to have a decent upbringing, okay? Now, I know there are some parents that are still jacked up, so there's a chance that your kid is still going to be jacked up to some extent, but if this girl had like involved parents in her life, there is a good chance that she probably would have had a different turnout. But we are sold this dream that women are supposed to be out there being badass boss babes, and our kids are left to fend for themselves because yes, there are daycares. And I also recognize that in today's economy, it would be next to impossible to raise people on a one-income household. But for the people that can't afford to do that, I think it's very important that we normalize that, because a lot of times we play this game between us women. Like, we look down at the ones who stay home, and we look down at the ones who want to go out there and get their bag. Like, if you don't have children and you want to go out there and do that, that's fine. But when you start having children, when you decide that you want to have children, I think you have to really sit down and think about where you want your priorities to be. Because if you bring children into the world, into this world, especially this world, you have to understand that there's a lot that you will have to give up for the well-being of these children. If you're not willing to become a completely selfless individual, then you have to rethink your idea of wanting to have children. I was watching this and I was baffled. And then she said something else that really got my attention. She specifically said, when Pearl asked her, how long have you been actively having relations? And she said, I consensually started having relations when I was 16. In my mind, I'm like, why did she have to throw that word consensually in there? Does that mean that it's been happening since before she could consent? Which is another thing, like who hurt this little girl? Because I refuse to believe that someone just wakes up one day and just chooses to be this promiscuous. I had to do the math. Like, if you're looking at 200 people in those 6 years that she said that she has consensually been active, that's like 33 people a year, if I did the math right. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I feel so bad for kids out here these days. They don't know anything. And this is the part of life where you need the most guidance, is in your teenage years, because that's when you're like the most confident about all the things you think you know. When you're a teenager, oh my goodness, you just know so much. And this is when you need the most guidance. And that's when people are now giving up on their kids, because they're gonna have a mouth, they're gonna tussle with you, they're not gonna want to listen, and the system is not for you. The system is rigged against parents so that they can do whatever it is they want with the children. So this is when parents usually give up on the children, because you can't give them a good ass whooping, because then that's the whole DCF situation. It's like you got one hand tied behind your back trying to raise children in this day and age, where it's like ridiculous. They have access to everything. They have access to everything you can think of. These children have access to it. When I was 16, granted, I grew up in a different generation, different society. I did not grow up in these United States of America, and every day I am like so thankful. I am on my knees thankful to the Lord that I did not grow up in these United States of America. Because I remember when I was growing up, my biggest influence was television. And now imagine these kids, they have substances, they have access to substances, they can come and go freely, they can talk to whoever online, and if they decide that they're gonna meet up with them, they could be lured into very dangerous situations because they have access to so much. A kid is not supposed to have access to this much. Yes, they need to be controlled. I don't care what you tell me. Children should not have this much freedom. Children need to be controlled because they don't have the critical thinking skill to make certain decisions for their well-being. They will walk right into danger thinking that they know what they're doing. That's why they need restrictions. Children need restriction. I don't care what nobody tell me. I don't care if you're like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The level of restriction is going to be different, depending on those numbers, but they need restrictions. And I was just baffled. Like, we have to think differently. If you're gonna have children in this day and age, in this generation, your parenting skills gotta be different. Your parenting skills have to be different. I saw something somewhere that I so agree with. Like, we cannot raise people, like children, the same way our parents raised us, because they're not growing up in the same generation that we did. This is a completely different generation. We need a completely different strategy to raise these kids. Over 150 partners by the time you're 21 years of age. That is crazy, and it breaks my heart that this is what young people have to now deal with. Because this stuff is not going to leave her. She's going to get to an age and she's going to sober up, and these are going to be her ghosts. This is going to follow her forever. When you're young and you're this promiscuous, they push the agenda that you're being sexually free. You are empowered. Let's just do this because it's your body, your choice. Nobody can tell you what to do with your body. But when you're this promiscuous and you have this many people enter your body, this is going to follow you for the rest of your life. You're not going to come out of this unscathed. And it's sad that these people don't know that. They don't believe that. We don't normalize not having this many sexual partners. Somebody just said, oh, that's not bad. I was like, are you serious? If you feel the need to sleep with this many people, something else is going on with you. But then we're not focusing on finding out what's wrong with these kids. And then they're going to sober up as older adults. And then they're going to have a hard time with themselves. It's very sad. And it makes me sick to my stomach that this is where we are in society. Nobody is raising anybody. Every teenager thinks they know everything and their parents just let them. Well, most parents, not every parent. but most parents just, let them be. And then men, a lot of men believe that they no longer need to participate in disciplining children because they work. No, sir. You still have to raise your kids even though you're working. Yeah, most of the responsibility of the raising falls on the wife if she's at home, but both of you got to get together to raise these children. It makes no sense. Anyways, let's jump into some of these comments here. Someone said, letting people live as they want to without morals got us in the situation we are in right now in America. That is so true. Because there was always this thing why live your life and let people live. Don't judge nobody. You do what you want. I do what I want. Blah, blah, blah. It's annoying. Someone said, nobody is ever worried about being judged when they're doing something they know is right. That is so true. They get so hyped. Like, everybody just gets so triggered the minute that you start talking about generalization, like what's true for the most part. They always get so triggered and they get so upset and they personalize it and then become upset. Someone says, you're not quote unquote empowered by sleeping around. I'm so glad I'm not in the dating pool anymore. I tell you, I am so glad. I'm not cut out to date out here. First of all, I don't know who's a he, used to be a she, and I don't know. It's just too much. I want nothing to do with this. Someone else said, imagine you have a kid with her and you're trying to name your son, but she keeps rejecting names because every name that you say is a guy that she's allowed in. Yikes. Can you imagine? Okay, so she said 200 or a little under 200 or over 150. That's a lot of names. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that could be a thing. You'd be trying to name your son and then they've all been in there. And now I guess he'll just be a junior if your name is not a repeat of... Anyways, someone said, on all those clips, they forget to ask what I think explains for 95% of them. 1, tell us about your dad. 2, have you experienced any SA, especially up into teenagerhood? And 3, what did you have your first experience at that moment and how was it? I so agree with this comment. This is what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't make sense for someone to just get up one day and decide that you're going to be this promiscuous because you're trying to be sexually empowered or you're trying to be sexually free. Something happened. I'm not saying the essay always has to be involved for somebody to be like that, but it's not by nature for us to be this promiscuous. So I think these are some really good questions to ask. Someone said, I really hate when people say do whatever you want as long as it doesn't affect other people. That is honestly the most ridiculous mindset there is. Every single thing you do matters, so stop doing whatever you want and then expect good things no matter what. That is so true. I don't agree with do whatever you want as long as it doesn't affect other people. Everything you do matters. Everything you do is a domino effect. It's always going to affect another person. It's going to affect you and then the people around you. So you have to be careful what you're doing. Just because you're allowed to do whatever you want doesn't mean you should. People will be affected. People around you will be affected. Now, it matters whether or not you give a damn about who's going to be affected, but other people will always be affected by your actions. But anyways, that is all that I have to say on this matter. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. But until then, I hope to see you in the comment section. Bye.